Alright, hi everybody! So I'm gonna do a quick Q&A. So you guys asked me a bunch of questions about Dylan and I's relationship. So I'm gonna read off the questions and then answer them in this video. Okay, so a little background for those of you who don't know me or Dylan and I's story. So Dylan and I have been dating since we were 16. We started dating in November 16th of 2012. So I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was a while ago. We've been together ever since. We've never broken up or anything. We got married when we were 19, so that was kind of crazy, and no one expected that, but we did it. If you have any more questions that I don't answer, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments below, and I could probably do another video later. So first questions. Did you guys both decide on the same school? So no, we didn't decide on the same school. We didn't want to go to the same school and just like follow each other. I didn't really know where I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go to a big school, so I applied to like Purdue and Pitt and like Florida and like all these huge schools. I also like applied to Kent and a bunch of places, and I got in everywhere, but I didn't know what to do. And then Dylan applied a bunch of places, got in, but he wanted to play baseball, so he decided on Tiffin, which is in like North Ohio, like outside of Toledo. It's a tiny town, and he went there and played baseball. And then I just decided on Kent State because I didn't want to go too far from home, and I didn't really love it. I didn't hate it or anything, but Dylan really hated his school, and like he knew he was going to transfer. Like we knew the day we dropped him off, like this was a terrible idea. We knew we probably he wouldn't stay. We thought about him coming to Kent, and then we just had friends who went to Ohio University. And then we just decided to get married, so we got married that summer, and we both transferred to Ohio University. And it was a great decision. Love it here. I'm so sad we're graduating. Next question. What is your best piece of advice for relationships? So this is like a lot, like a big question, but my biggest thing is if you don't trust the person you're with in any way, shape, or form, it's not going to work. So like if you don't trust the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, it's not going to work at all. And also, like, if they're not your best friend, it's not really going to work because you are stuck with this person for your whole life. So through every bad part, every good part, like, you're stuck with them. Even after you have kids, you still need to be best friends so that you can, like, last a lifetime and enjoy every moment. You don't want to be stuck with someone who you aren't madly in love with, that you could spend every second with. Like a good example of this, like me and Dylan got stuck. We went camping. It rained the entire weekend. This was like our first camping trip, and it poured. And we were just in a tent in the middle of nowhere, and like thunderstorming. And we like stuck it out in the tent for 3 days, just me and him. And we literally like played cards and braided each other's hair for 3 days. And we were like, if we can make it through this, like literally you can make it through anything, because like that was the worst, and we still had a blast. So I would say you have to be best friends, and you have to be honest with that person and trust them with literally everything. If you are afraid of your boyfriend or girlfriend going out without you, if you're like nervous they're gonna like cheat on you, like you don't trust that person. You need to trust that person. Like I never ever worry about Dylan ever. And I love him, and like I trust him, so that would be my biggest one. Like be best friends for real. Don't just say it because it's cliche. Like you need to be best friends. You shouldn't be able to stay mad at that person ever because you love them so much, and also you need to trust them. Okay, is it weird to listen to people your age complain about hookups, boyfriends, or girlfriends? No, it's not weird at all. I don't have any married friends. I don't really even have any friends in relationships, so that is like all I hear. And I enjoy it because I don't get to hear that stuff. So like I never want people to feel weird talking to me about their relationships or like boyfriends or girlfriends or hookups or anything, because like I love hearing all the drama and stuff, because I don't it's good. I don't have any drama, but it's fun to listen to them, and I don't think it's weird at all. That's a pretty simple answer. But was it scary at first? Were there any doubts? So I never had any doubts. Like, I can only speak for myself. I don't think Dylan had any doubts at all. The scary part was what everyone would think of me about it. So, like, getting married at 19, like, that's a huge decision, but it wasn't really weird because everyone knew we would get married eventually. Like, it wasn't a big it was a big shock that we were so young, but it wasn't a big shock that Dylan and Allie would get married. So the hardest part for me was, like, telling everyone, because no one's gonna tell me, like, what they think, but, like, telling, like, Dylan's parents, telling my parents, that was definitely the hardest part. And we told them before, like, Dylan even proposed, because we wanted to be supported by our family. So that was the hardest part, was telling everyone. But then once we told everyone, it wasn't even a big deal at all, because everyone was so supportive. They knew we'd get married eventually, so it wasn't really bad at all. And then I wasn't nervous really at all for the wedding until my dad came to see me in my wedding gown. And I wasn't even nervous then, I was just excited. And everything went great. It was the best day ever, literally. Like, when they say it's the best day ever, like, it sounds cliche, but it was literally the best time ever. It was so much fun. Okay. Did you guys struggle when you first started living together? It was not like a huge struggle, but it is definitely a learning curve, like, seeing how you guys work together, like, who's gonna do the dishes and take the trash out and cook and clean, and, like, there's, like, a lot to learn when you start living together. And, like, like, me and Dylan were together, well, we were long distance for a year because we went to different schools, but we still saw each other a lot of weekends. So, but before that, it was high school, so we never, like, lived together or, like, had our own place or our own space. So that was nice, having our own area and being alone, because we were never alone, because we were always in a dorm room or just at our parents' house. So that was fun. But the biggest learning curve, I think, was, like, and we got a dog, so taking care of a dog together who was a terrible puppy was really hard. But you learn a lot about the other person, you learn a lot about working together, and it's like, it's you guys against the problem, not the problem, like, not you versus each other. So it's, like, really important to work together, and, like, we're still learning that now. It's not like we don't fight or anything, like, we bicker over stuff all the time. You still get time with your female friends, young wife asking another young wife. So this is really hard too, especially at school. So our first year living together at OU, I literally didn't really have any friends. So we lived a little bit off campus, and we had two guys friends who went to OU, so Dylan had friends here all the time. And they're my friends too, like, nothing against them, but I didn't have any girlfriends, so I had a really, 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 really hard time making friends, because I lived off campus and because I'm married. And, like, as soon as you told people that you are literally 19 and married, they're like, oh, why are you married? What the hell's wrong with you? Like, what the heck? That's so weird. Like, oh, I guess you can't hang out with us, like, can't have sleepovers or anything. But it wasn't like that at all, but it was really hard explaining it to people. But then I finally did make some friends at school, and it was great. But then Dylan was like, whoa, you can't hang out with me 24/7 all the time. You're going to go hang out with someone else. And that's dramatic, but it is a learning curve once again, like, getting used to having to share your time with other people once you do live alone and live together. But it's just about, like, making the time with one another, like, alone time, but also supporting each other and having those relationships, because they are so important to have friends and have other people to talk to. So you have to make an effort on both parts to have that alone time, and also to support one another in the friendships that you do make, because, like, relationships are everything. You want to have friendships, you want to have a good relationship, so it just takes work from both parts to support each other in those friendships and support each other. What was it like to be in Virginia with each other? So Dylan and I had internships in Virginia this summer, so we just got an apartment for 3 months and moved to Virginia. And it was like, it was terrible at the time, but looking back, and while we were there, we're like, we're gonna look back on this and love it, but right now it's really terrible. So we were working like 40 hours a week, and our commutes were so long. Dylan's was 2 hours there and 2 hours back every day, and mine was an hour to work and an hour back every day, and that sucked. It was so bad. But it was fun again because we hadn't lived alone since our sophomore year of college. So living alone again was so much fun because it was just him and me, and like we have so much fun when we're alone together. Like we would literally just go out to eat, go to the movies, like eat so much food, go hiking. We did so much fun stuff. And so like looking back, I really loved it, and I really appreciated the time we had alone together, because when we come back to school, we live with 2 other boys, so we're never alone ever. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed our time, and like we went through so much growth because like on our ways to work, we would listen to podcasts and books and stuff, and like we just grew as humans so much. It was a great experience. What did both of your parents think about getting engaged and married so young? So this was so hard. It was so scary. So I would, I don't even know how it came to fruition that like Dylan and I would get married. Like we were texting about it one day, and Dylan was like, "No, I'm serious. I think we should get married." I was like I'm not gonna say no. So then I just started like texting my parents, like, "I think me and Dylan should get married," like just kind of joking, kind of not, introducing the topic. And then I would send my parents articles on why it's like a good idea to get married young, and like weird stuff like that. And then one day we were home to visit, and my parents were like, "If you and Dylan want to get married, like we'll support you in whatever you want to do." And I was like, I was shocked. And I was like, oh my god, they're going to support us? Heck yeah, we're getting married. So then I texted them and like told them about my parents, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is real life. Like we're going to get married. This is crazy. And then we waited so long to tell Dylan's parents because we were so scared. And I love them so much. I love them. But it was scary. And Dylan told his parents like sometime around Christmas, I think. They were in shock, which is to be expected. That's fine. But like they came around. It was fine. It was just a shock, and it took time. But I mean, they're very supportive still. It was still great. What's your favorite little thing that Dylan does that makes you happy? He does so many little things. One thing he does that makes me so happy is like when I'm upset or if I'm mad at him, he brings me food because it makes me so excited. He'll bring me like milk and cookies or like a quesadilla, and that's just so sweet because he just knows how to really make me happy. He does so many little things. He loves on our puppy so much, and that makes me so happy because I know he's going to be such a good dad one day. I just cannot wait. I'm so excited for that. If you guys know anything about me, you know I want to have 1,000,000 children. I have to wait. Okay. That's good for now. That's a lot of questions answered, right? If you guys have any more questions at all, leave them in the comments below, or message me on Instagram or whatever. I'll put it somewhere. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.